Hello, Kyle Smith here. The article that I chose is called Do Attributions Mediate the Association Between Attachment and Negative Communication? So the goal in studying this specific research article was to get to the root of what's actually poisoning our otherwise loving relationships, right? So my personal thesis is that the turbulence in our otherwise loving relationships is rooted in negative attributions. So the three things that we're going to learn today is the difference in attachment styles. We're also going to learn the correlation between attachment style, attribution, and negative communication. And then third most important, we're going to learn how to apply this newfound information to our relationships for the benefit of our relationships. So first of all, let's start with some definitions, because if we don't know what any of this stuff means, it doesn't do us any good. So attributions, the point of this whole thing, right? So what is an attribution? So I'm a simplification guy. A lot of this stuff is honestly very hard for me to understand. So if I can simplify it for other people to understand, that's really the goal. So the way that I like to see attributions is almost like assumptions is another way of saying it, or like placing the motive behind the person's behavior. So like an easy one, like within my relationship, my girlfriend doesn't reply to my text message. Well, I can either attribute it to she's off sleeping with somebody else, or she's dead in a ditch, or she's ignoring me, or I can say, okay, let's put it in a positive light. She probably doesn't have cell service. She did, she's not with her phone 24/7 like she says that she is, and let's give her the benefit of the doubt here. Or maybe we normally hang out on Friday nights. That's our regular thing. And then the past couple nights she's made plans to do something else, and I can either place a negative attribution on that and say, okay, it's because she loves me less, or I'm not a priority, or I can just give her the benefit of the doubt, attribute it to the fact that she just had a change in schedule and I just need to be more fluid. So that's what an attribution is. So there's also this is news to me. There's attachment styles within relationships. Secure attachment and insecure attachment, and these are measured by anxious attachment style, which is basically always worried about the state of the relationship or the other person, or what's going on with them, kind of having, we all know what anxiety is. And then there's avoidance attachment style, which is apparently a disposition to keep the partner kind of at arm's length, discomfort within the real close parts of intimate relationships. And the last thing is negative communication. So we've all been there, right? Whenever we're in the place of blame, or we're stonewalling, or we're in justification or self-righteous anger, any type of negative communication. We've all been there where rationale goes out the window, and we're basically just getting in that downward spiral of argumentation. That's negative communication, which deteriorates relationships. So the hypothesis of this was that both anxious and avoidant attachment are associated with negative communication and with negative attributions mediating. So basically the negative attributions leading to negative communication, right? So the experiment, what they did, they took 59 couples, all of them together a minimum of 6 months, spending a minimum of 4 weeks, 4 nights a week together. And what they did was they had each of them videotape 10 minutes of conflict with one another. And what they measured overall was couple satisfaction. They assessed the anxiety and avoidance attachment, and they assessed the couple communication, and they assessed the attribution style during the conflict. So what the findings were was that indeed negative attributes mediated insecure attachment and negative communication, as well as post-conflict distress. So basically, by already having thinking about my partner in a negative way, not giving the benefit of the doubt, when it comes time to talk about whatever it is that's going on with us, I'm already coming at him in a negative way, right? So it's already spoiled before the conversation has even started. So the negative communication isn't necessarily the problem. The problem is these negative attributes that we have, this picture that we have of our partner in our head, demonizing them before the conversation has even started, right? So basically, the relationship that I chose this was in my romantic relationship, because it's the biggest, um, it's the highest point of my life, but it's also the point of my life with the most conflict. And if I'm going to do a school assignment, I would like to do something that's going to actually like benefit my life, and this is a problem area for me. Um, and it's weird because we have a great loving relationship, great chemistry, great compatibility, but still find ourselves often in this conflict. And it's like, why do we have these two people that like really love each other and are super into it, still at each other's necks quite often, right? And so here we are, is because of negative attribution. So I've got like a perfect example that just happened with the negative attributions last Friday. So it was my birthday weekend, and my girlfriend went missing in action for about 3 hours or so. Wasn't responding to texts or calls or anything like that. And so where my head goes, because it's kind of toxic, I'm more anxious attachment style. Is that okay? She's hanging out with somebody else or talking to somebody else, or just being inconsiderate is the word I'm looking for. And so I finally come home after being gone for about 3 hours, and I notice there's some weird light coming from my house. And I come inside, and my girlfriend had come to my house and set up like candles and like lights and like decorations and like all this cool stuff all over my house. And I had attributed her going MIA to like cheating on me or like, being neglectful towards me. Really, she was just surprising me with this like really cool birthday weekend. And I made a complete ass out of myself because of negative attribution. So, um, in conclusion, when it comes to like my personal relationship, the focal point should not be like communicating my feelings better or talking things through or this or that, because that's what I've always thought before reading this, and it doesn't really go anywhere. I have the same problems. Instead, I think, in conclusion, at least from what this stuff is telling us, is that I should be focused on not putting negative attributions on my girlfriend and trying to look at her in a more positive light. So, like in simple terms, giving the benefit of the doubt, leading with trust, and giving her a break instead of going to this catastrophic thinking every time and thinking the worst of my own partner, because that is mediated into negative communication. So thank you again for listening to my video. Hope you guys learned something. That's it.